Hello, Divine Sunshiners. Stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, Namago. Hello, this is Divine Sunshine. Coming to you with the message of my ancestors. That's bring it to me. That's one I'm ready to go, but when they bring it to me, I have to go ahead and channel out. I know April Williams had brought up about that tonight, about the ancestors, and something about it in my spirit or my shundo. It won't let it go. Please remember again that with these energies that we have with this blue moon energies here, that this is a time to really actually truly heal. Go back to the playground experience and look at that part that April Williams was talking about, how you could go back in to be able to heal. It's about the blue moon energies, how you are able to heal ancestral things and go and clear that out. I think that's very important because a lot of us things that have been done through the lineage. I told you your purpose here as a twin flame is not only to help the world, but it's also to help your family. Okay, and I think a lot of us has forgotten that really not even forgotten that. Let me even excuse you. Let me give you a pass on that one. It has not even been pushed upon you about this family dynamic, because most of the time it's about getting your divine masculine right, get yourself on mission, seeing how you all both are really mirroring each other. So again, that really, to me, I say, like my mom said, that ain't even been on nobody's radar. Matter of fact, it has flown underneath there. You have forgotten. You have to go back to what Jesus has said, greater things you would do than I. So you're coming along to do things greater than your generations before you and your generations coming after you. Okay, and so it's very important that you understand that your purpose of being here is not only for the world, but it's also for your family. It's not only for your divine masculine, but it's also for your ancestors and the ones that, again, your legacy, your offsprings as well. So you can change the course of the dynamics of things that have been done before you. That is why it's so very important that you honor your ancestors. I was listening to one of the ladies that she was talking about it. I had stopped doing that, and I need to bring that back. That I was doing the Sankofa readings, which is again getting honor to your past loved ones and how they help to give you guidance too as well. And I will try to see how I can add that in. I was doing that by the signs, and so again, that was my way of ancestors to do that. I do the things about the honoring about the Orishis too. You got the African queens and those things, gods and goddesses that you look at as far as, and you do that again to give them honor as far as when you talk about your ancestors, about the things that have been done and forgiving, and you using them as well as a way sure about things. And it's really just several aspects when I look at it, as far as when you look at source and how they are and how they divide them out. Okay, that's agreement with that. This really likes looking at several ways of source. It's still source, but it's just divided up into different aspects and characteristics, which they give a character's name to. In that, and you'll see that as I got a book of gods that I have for the kids too, how each culture have their own gods and goddesses to explain, why they come up with the myths, is to be able to explain why things are the way in their world, why things operate, why is the sun and the moon and these things, and what things are behind it that's creating these things to actually happen. So that's all it is, to be honest. There's no mojo, hoodoo, and all that kind of other stuff. That's just a way of each culture explaining the world in the way that they do it, and they giving the character or a face of a person to be able to do that. So, and a lot of times some of these different kind of ways of cultures and lifestyles or ways of how they do it, they give them a kind of pretty much a bad rap to it, because they're like, ooh, is this, or ooh, is this, and that's not really what it's all about. This is all things that practices and things that people's ancestors have done, and they have carried it on as a way of their belief systems. They help them get through it. They've helped them explain the world and environment and atmosphere that they're in. So in taking that, a lot of the cultures and the things that we have, we passing it on generations to generations. And some of the things that have been done to us has been passed on generations to generations, whether we were there or not. Well, you're talking about like the Holocaust, the Irish, the fleeing, what happened to the Irish as well with them, and all these diasporas that had happened. You can look at all of them. The Mexican, Hispanics, the Mexicans have been having to flee Mexico to come into the United States because of the wrongdoings. The Native Americans. India has had things that have happened about them with the government and wrongdoing and all that kind of stuff. And everybody, all that stuff, that trauma has been carrying down through the spiritual, I call it DNA, all the way through generation after generation of that. Not even collectively as a culture has been done. And your parents and forefathers have participated in those things. But you bringing on that kind of trauma, and they've shown that also in experiments, how that could be passed on from generation to generation that way. That flea theory, or this is how we are, the welfare system, because we generations of taking assistance from welfare assistance, and that's all they know. Some of that's environmental, some of that stuff is just really passed on without them even knowing, and you have to become very resilient as a child. I remember that saying that in my psychology, resiliency, where you have to go through there and say, nope, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to be a part of that story. I'm not going to pass on that baton to the next generation. The buck stops here. And so this is why, as a twin flame, I remember my friend Rhea, she had stated that. She said, I can hear when I talk to you, like your ancestors are saying, do this for us, do this great thing for us, be the representative, do greater things than what we have done. And I was listening to, going back to what I was saying, I was listening to a program on one of the videos, and the lady was saying, we have to kind of, as a community, come together and to be able to create that change for what have happened to some of our forefathers or our ancestors that came before us as well, because that is who we are. We are here to change those things and to change the course and ask for forgiveness about what things and mourn the things that had happened. I seen that in the twin flame, to collective for the blue moon. One of them say grieve and anger. Some of that stuff is about, again, ancestral, getting all that stuff out of your system from the divine feminine, your being, your intrinsic mix, all the stuff that's happening within you, how you need to kind of get rid of all of that extra junk stuff that does no longer serve you within yourself because of family things, dynamics. And that's what we really are dealing with, because in order for us to be able to obtain, to sustain, and hold this relationship that we're getting ready for, or this mission that we're getting ready for, we have to come to the point that all that stuff has got to go, because it's like dead weight that's weighing us down, and we cannot become light like that balloon that I had did in the blue moon reading. We've got to be able to get to that point. We cannot forget our ancestors. We cannot forget our family, even if we don't know. If you do know, like the ancestry report, some of them are right, some of them are not. You pretty much can have a real good understanding. And I would say also, look, even if you get that ancestry report for things, whatever it is, DNA 360 or whatever it is like that, that gives you understanding of makeup of who you are, and from both sides of your family. If you could did that, I was blessed. I was able to do that. I know definitely between the end with my dad's spirit that told me, say, you need to get a DNA thing, get an ancestry on it. Just see what dad is made up of. Found out a lot of things with him. Found out what my mom was made up of. And seeing how those things coming together collectively, energetically, I could see kind of the clash of the titans of both of them, because that was interesting. I think I had said that. Found out on my dad's side that he was German, and I found out on my mom's side she was Jewish. Okay, now if we look ancestral wise, and we look back at history, them two didn't mix. Okay, those two, you know, about, if you go about that stuff, you know, history, right? You know, the Jews was the enemy, and the Germans was the enemy. So here comes this coming down this lineage, and these two coming together. It was an interesting mix of, I believe, in some ways, some of that stuff that was historically that was left in the genes, and that kind of still played out with them clashing together as twins. That stuff had to kind of bubble and kind of get on out with them. That's some things that they had to work out. That's still in theory how I think, but I still have a kind of inkling about some of the things that kind of played out between both of them that was not right. And I'm not going to go too in depth with that, but let's just say we kind of that feeling I'm superior and you're subordinate, still inferior, superior. That kind of dynamic still kind of played out even in their kind of relationship there. And that's something they had to kind of like, that needed to get filtrated and healed so you could really be able to have a successful twin flame. That goes back to, again, like I said, you know, forgiving that, getting rid of that, and then understanding that you've got to, you don't want that with your twin flame if they're not ready and they haven't gotten all of that stuff out of their system, and maybe some things you and them have to kind of work out together. So you can get rid of it. Pray at that time when that does happen that you're willing to accept it, to get it, to heal it, transmute it beyond all space and time, and then let it go. You could even do that before you even get into that, to make sure you do that. But like I said, some things I'm picking up and they're saying some of these things you won't know until you get in there, and then some of that stuff will start appearing. Like, you forgot this, this got to get out. They'll bring it out, and then, you know, again, as they come up, quickly as they come up, quickly as you ask for it to clear and transmute across all space and time too, when you make it to being with your divine counterpart. So I just wanted to bring that to you because that was two things involved to me about don't forget your ancestors. I think, again, we're forgetting about that how important it is, their role, and how you're here, sent here to be greater than them, and that's your reason why you were born. Okay, so that's kind of like a trigger warning in some ways, you know, how that plays a part is in your twin flame dynamic as well. All right, then, as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, namago. Love you.